You think you need one of these? You think you need one of these? Nah, not if you're a set it and forget it kind of guy. Forget about it. You don't need one of these. But if you're at all interested in low and slow, over the coals, over the wood fire, Santa Maria style, Argentine cooking, then you definitely want to look at one of these. Hey, welcome back to Sambo's Place. It is a scorcher here in Northeast PA today, but we're gonna turn up the heat because we are gonna take a deep dive into over the fire, wood fire cooking. That's right, we're gonna focus on Santa Maria Argentine style cooking. We're gonna talk about the heritage that's involved with it, the history that's involved with it, why I chose to buy this Ash and Ember style Santa Maria Argentine grill. We're going to look at what you might need in terms of tools and such, in addition to the grill. We're gonna talk about price points, and we're gonna sample some of the cooks that I've done recently on my Santa Maria style grill. So hey, thanks for checking into the channel. Let's take a deep dive into this, starting with this grill right here. What exactly is this allure of being around fire, cooking over the fire, gathering around the fire?
Because fire is the stuff of warriors.
We'll get into the physical differences of the grills that determine what a Santa Maria grill is and what an Argentine grill is a bit later. I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet for you. Keep in mind that everything is based on tradition, okay? Whether you're talking about Argentine cooking or you're talking about Santa Maria barbecue, it's all based on tradition. And this tradition started with the Spanish coming over here to South America in the 18th century and bringing with them cattle, and basically they needed people to work. And these gauchos, as they were called, herded the cattle and do what the modern day cowboys do. So when you have people working, out in the wilderness, you need to feed them. And what happened was they started to build these big pits in the ground, and they started to cook huge pieces of meat over the embers to feed the gauchos. This became tradition. This expanded. It's now part of the Argentinian culture, and still is. And if you've ever heard of chimichurri sauce, that's where it comes from. That was the sauce that they used on the cooked meats down in that region. Seasonings were very simple. They just used salt and pepper, but it was low and slow over a pit. Usually the meat was put on spits or some kind of grates, and they cooked this for the gauchos. As I mentioned, now it has become a tradition, and the tradition is sometimes called asado, which means barbecue, but it also means a meal and a gathering, and that's what's celebrated to this day. Santa Maria style barbecue came a little bit later, and you gotta wonder if the people from South America emigrated north to California to the Santa Maria region, the valley, and brought with them some of their culture, because it's very similar. You had the same people doing the same jobs, and they needed meat, they needed food provided for them, and very similar open ground pits with very similar ways of cooking was the trend. And this was in the early 19th century. You could go to Santa Maria Valley and still celebrate with their style of barbecue to this day. Now, the big difference was between the two is that in the Santa Maria barbecue was also served with pinquito beans, and pinquito beans were natural to the area, and this was part of the meal. Santa Maria barbecue is typically paired with wine. It was always cooked over local wood, okay, red oak, and it's still a tradition today. Now, the difference between Santa Maria and Argentine grills that you can buy today is the grates. The Santa Marias are typically flat, and the Argentine have the V-grate style to them. My Ash Ember is called a Santa Maria Argentine grill because it has the Argentine V-grates, and they are dynamite at heat distribution, heat dispersion, and grease being mitigated. Not only does it remove the grease because of the angle that they're on, but they also vaporize the grease and flavor the food. It is a fantastic surface to cook your meat on. So what are some of the pros and cons of owning this Ash Ember Santa Maria style grill? Cost, okay? Cost and quality of build. Right now, and this is the end of July, they are 25% off on the Ash Ember website. I happened to get this back in May when they were 40% off, and I took delivery of this for well under $900. Now this retails for $1,300, so you could get this right now at the end of July for about $900 shipped, and shipping is free. Construction, quality of build. You could go back and watch my assembly video, so where I talk about all the specs of this, and basically using my wife's experience in manufacturing for 35 years, what this probably costs to build and manufacture. The ease of use. These shelves are so robust I could probably do push-ups off of them if I had to. Yet they easily remove off both sides of your asado if you need to store this. The casters. These wheels are incredible. But again, they got to support 320 pounds. These two on this end are rotating 360 degrees, plus they also have a locking feature. This grill is extremely easy to move around back and forth, and that's what I do. I just wheel it in and out of the garage. The build quality, and by the way, these side shelves on many other grills are an additional cost and an accessory. So is the wheel. So are the Argentine V-grates, additional costs on other Santa Maria style grills. What else I like about this are the front doors, okay? The front doors, okay, are opening. So during your cook, you can get in and you could manage your coals without having to raise and lower your cooking grate during your cook. These doors are an additional cost on other Santa Maria style grills. The ease of cleaning it. You got two ash pans. The bottom shelf is extremely robust and can handle a lot of wood. There's a lot of room. Cons, tool management. I'm thinking about drilling some holes in these shelves and adding some small knobs here so that I could hang some of my tools off them. The fire brick on this is three-sided, so it's very well insulated. You have vents on the front of these doors so you can control your airflow. You'll get airflow up under your grates as well because the ash pans are much lower. It's extremely smooth in operation. You can see just how smooth this is up and down. Cleaning, these Argentine grill grates, I was kind of skeptical in the beginning, but as I watched my cooks, I could tell you that grease hits these and vaporizes right back in and flavors the meat. So they are pitched so your grease will eventually drip down into this drip tray, which is very easy to clean out. You just get a couple paper towels and you just wipe it out after you're cooked. I can't say enough about this grill. I've only had it for about a month and a half right now. I've done a half a dozen cooks on it. I love working with this grill. I love being part of the cook. Can't say enough about it. You know, recently I've been accused of talking too much and not demonstrating enough. So here's a little demonstration on how I clean my Santa Maria Argentine style grill. Here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need a scraper, you're gonna need an old brush, and a small putty knife. It's pretty simple. Now I know some of you are thinking, don't use metal on a metal surface, you're gonna get metal in your food. Well, you know what? Once you scrub it down, all you gotta do is wipe it with a paper towel, okay? It's real simple. These V-grates right here, these are phenomenal. They absolutely eviscerate grease when it drips. It just vaporizes it right back into your meat. They're several little flavorizer bars working their magic into your meat. Basically what I do is I just scrape each one of these V-bars, okay, with my putty knife, just like that. After I've pretty much scraped off the big turds, I take my stainless steel scrubber, crank up my wheel. Basically, I undo my little grease tray right here, dump it out, wipe it out, put it back on, bada bing. For underneath, raise your grill grate all the way up. Take your old brush, basically just brush your ash down between the grates. Real simple like that. Leave any coals that really haven't been burned all the way through for your next fire. Remove your ash pan. Take your ash pan and dump it wherever you want. It's that simple. Cleanup is a breeze. Okay, Sambo, you got me interested. I've never done live fire cooking before. What am I gonna need in addition to this grill to get myself started? Well, you're gonna need yourself a good pair of welding gloves or some sort of heat gloves if you don't already have them, because this handle gets quite hot. In fact, everything around this grill you can guarantee gets upwards of 1200 degrees. So you gotta be careful. You can't be pounding beers or slamming martinis. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. Now, I have mine on my old Oklahoma Joe's grill mat because I don't want to slop grease all over my concrete. Do you need one? I don't know what surface you're cooking on, but I have a grill mat. You should get yourself some type of coal shovel. Now, I found this at Lowe's. This is a fairly reasonable Blackstone, and basically I use this to move my coals around, shovel out my excess when I'm done. So this is a nice addition to have. I also stole my andiron from my backyard fire pit. You might want to get yourself a cheap andiron so that when you're in the middle of your cook, you can open up your doors and you can move your coals around during your cook. So an andiron is necessary. Well, how do I get my fire started, Sambo? You have this big grill grate in the middle. Well, you can use, okay, a chimney. There is enough room for this large Weber chimney, and I have used it, okay, to get my coals started and dump underneath the V grate. But I've since moved on to one of these, and this is a cheapo torch. You could get this off of Amazon for under 20 bucks. And basically, this is a lot more efficient and a lot easier to get your fire started. Many of you might already have these, especially if you are a charcoal grill kind of guy. So I'm probably speaking to the choir on this one. But if you've never got yourself into live fire cooking, these are some of the tools that you need to get yourself started with your grilling experience.